Of the Comrade Show across the world, wherever you are joining us from, this first Sunday of the first month of the year 2024. On behalf of the entire team here at the Comrade Show, I want to wish you all a very happy and delightful New Year 2022. Welcome to today's show. Yes, welcome back. And it's good to be back on the table in this fresh new year. It's a breath of fresh air, I would say. And I have with me here in the studio the CNC of the Comrade Show, the one and only, the one that we all know, Comrade Lante Ponsa. Greet our people, my brother.
Thank you very much, Comrade Dr. Agbonse. God bless you. Yes, Nigerians across the world, and particularly Edo State indigenes across the world, welcome to the Comrade Show. Please do us a favor, share the broadcast, and don't watch alone. It promises to be very, very interesting. Over to you, Dr. Agbons.
Yes, thank you very much, Comrade Ikpomosa. Without much ado, we're going to go straight to the zip of the matter today. And like you can see on our headline here, it is Edo 2024 Guba Primaries. Who will emerge for the People's Democratic Party, All Progressive Congress, and the Labour Party, and some other parties? For the sake of justice, we will not be able to, put everything down here. Edo people are once again gearing up. The momentum is gathering. The clouds are heavy, and there's going to be a rainfall as Edo State people all over the world make a choice for who becomes the next governor. Comrade, Edo 2024 elections. September is right here. We can count it. What have you to say, my brother?
Well, it's honestly looking very interesting. Intrigues here and there. Everybody's postulating. Nobody can say for sure where the pendulum is going to swing. The political parties are busy. The aspirants are busy. We can see huge engagements here and there. And of course, forces are beginning to align. And all I can say is looking quite interesting. And whatever you hear now about who is going to emerge is all subject to speculations and, of course, postulations. But again, we have some information too that we want to equally share. But that all of these is we need a mix of the Esan agenda, the Edo agenda, the women agenda, and all of the, contesting, issues, flagging off everywhere you turn. At the end of the day, like I would always say, ultimately, Edo State people will always decide at the end of the day. But at this stage, the political parties right now, they have a lot to do, particularly when the fate of whoever is going to emerge is largely and hugely, if not solely, hinged on the decisions of the majority of the people that they call delegates. Delegates across the different political parties that are yet to be known, are yet to be named. So at the end of the suspense everywhere, and the discussion is ongoing, and it will keep on going until February ending, when we eventually get to know who the candidates are. But at the moment, everything is just subject to postulations and speculations.
Big words there. You've navigated, what is a very sumptuous topic, very, very cleverly and intelligently. Vintage Comrade Lante also. So Edo State people worldwide, like Comrade Lante have said, and for me, this is very important. the primaries are here. And like you all know, it is what these political parties present after the primaries. That is the choice that's going to be available for those state people. So what that means is, why the primaries comes up uh, later next month, because INEC have released a timetable since last year. The political parties are going to do their primaries in between February and early March, and I think at the end of the middle of March, they are to submit the names of their flag bearers to INEC. So we're going to have each of these parties having one candidate. So many people are asking. We've got so many candidates here. As you can see on our optics, we have, in no particular order and in no ranking, distinguished those state sons and daughters all over the world. We have here Barrister Asem Ojeswa, Barrister Aswe Igodalo. All these are People Democratic Party candidate. We have Honorable Ogbede Ihama, Omorige Ogbede Ihama. We have from the APC, you can see there, Pastor Osage Iyamu. We have Prince Clem Agba. We have Professor Oserieme Osumbo. We have retired Colonel Muse and others. Just during the week, former Deputy Governor Lucky Maswen declared his intention to run for the office. Then for the Labour Party, we have Dr. Mrs. Loretta Oduware Ogboroko. We have the former NBA president, Olumide Akpata. We have Mr. Ogbemudi Abasi Osagie. We have Prince Egbe Omoodion. We have Riceman Imasu Agbon. So many others. I cannot, we can go on and on. These are all political heavyweights in their own right. So for me, I see a very titanic battle as this candidate jostle for the ticket of their political party. So, comrade, I just gave my opinion. So, looking at this list and some others that you may also want to mention, what are your inner feelings across the political parties?
I think that depending on the political party, actually, it's very likely that the loudest drum today may actually not be the one that will be chosen. When I made the loudest drum, some of the aspirants have done very well. They've been able to capture the attention of the Edo State population, of course, Nigerians. They've engaged with the people. They are interacting with the people, and a lot of them too. Some of them are using social media very well, and so we are beginning to hear, some names. Some names are louder than others, and somehow it is not how loud the name is that determines who eventually will become the candidate of each of these political parties. The reason is because what some of the aspirants are doing right now is good enough for general elections, but it's not good enough to get the ticket, because getting the ticket is not dependent on the rest of us. It's dependent on the few persons that they call delegates. And somebody, I had a chat with somebody last night who mentioned a particular name amongst this list. I was like, it looks like for the PDP, let me be very direct, it looks like for the PDP, Aswa Igodalo, is running away with the ticket. I said, well, I wish him well. But the truth of the matter is that it's a case, it's looking like a case of the more you look, the less you see. What Aswa Igodalo is doing, which is very good, is capturing the attention of the people. He has a lot of social media urchins, doing a lot of work for him. And so everywhere you turn, you kind of, hear of Aswa Igodalo. Again, because Governor, Obaseki is the governor, and people believe Obaseki is the one backing Aswa Igodalo. And so therefore, for those who are lovers of Governor Obaseki, they are easily able to, be attentive to this. However, from the word on the streets, what we hear is different from what is out there publicly. And I dare say that if what we hear is anything to go back to go by, what is happening with Aswa Iwodalo is very good for the general elections, but it is not looking sweet for the primaries because at the end of the day, the Benin man says that the children playing outside, they are not the owner of where they are of the playground. The owners of the playground, they are not seen. They are inside the house. And for the PDP, it is looking like the owners of the playground have a different agenda altogether. That is the word on the street. Don't take my word for it. And we hear these things. We hear so many other things. And on the part of the governor, I'm talking about the PDP right now, the dynamics are always changing. Okay, the governor in recent days have been appealing to the party members. He has visited somebody like Danobi, the South vice president at the national level, and all of that. He's playing his own politics to see if he can curry favor. Somehow, from the word on the street, it doesn't look like he's penetrating very well. And so at the end of the day, none of these aspirants right now know who the delegates are going to be. And we know that the delegates are going to be appointed with instructions. So if you, in politics of Edo State and Nigeria, if you are a stakeholder and you were part of 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. national meeting where some decisions have been taken to be executed the next day, and you go to bed, and unfortunately, you are not part of the 5 a.m. meeting that will take place later, or the 6 a.m. meeting that will take place later, you will wake up by 7 a.m. believing that the meeting you had at 1 a.m. or 2 a.m., the result of that meeting is what's going to happen the next day. Meanwhile, you probably don't know that another meeting had taken place by 6 a.m. where you were asleep. So at the end of the day, is Aswa Iwodalo going to be part of the 5 a.m. meeting? Is Asambos Joseph are going to be part of the 5 a.m. meeting? Is Ogbede Yama going to be part of the 5 a.m. meeting? That's on the side of PDP. But again, on the side of PDP, I fear, this is my own now, that based on the word on the street and what we hear, I fear that PDP may eventually end up having a parallel primaries where the side of the governor will bring out a candidate and the side of Danobi will bring out that candidate, and therefore they will go to court, leaving the chance for APC and of course the Labour Party to battle it out, faithfully. On the part of the APC, the name of Pastor Osage Ezeyamu is very loud. Clemagba is equally very loud. Osarimo Sumbo is equally loud, and all of that. And so there are different things that we are hearing. When you speak to the faithfuls and loyalists of Osage Ezeyamu, they believe that he's been anointed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And many equally believe that Clemagba too have been anointed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And meanwhile, there's some word on the street too to say that there's some level of disagreement between the presidency and, of course, one of the national leaders of the APC, talking of what's his name, Comrade Adams Ushomele, over who becomes the candidate of the APC. There's a huge opposition to that of Osage Ezeyamu, because some believe that the same weapons that were used against Osage Ezeyamu in 2020, they are not dead, they are still alive, they can still be used again. You understand? So people, and it's been there, it's been coming, this probably, I think, is third time or so, attempting to become governor of Edo State. And so there's a very strong argument against him. Meanwhile, there are others who believe that, they probably may resolve at the national level, to feed Osage Ezeyamu and, of course, pair him with a Clem Agba. But, all that is still there. But what is going good for the APC is that they appear not divided, in quote, like the PDP is. The PDP is very divided at the state level. Even within the governor's camp in PDP, there's a lot of division. You understand what I'm saying now? We can see that very clearly. We hear a lot about that. Now, on the part of the Labour Party, Labour Party has been a breeding ground for aspirants. Everybody who believe, they have some few millions in their bank account, they've thrown their own heart into the ring, and which is a very good thing. Unfortunately, none of them knows exactly what eventually is going to be the cost of the price for getting the buying the forms. You understand? For the Labour Party, nobody knows anything. But somebody like Dr. Loretta is doing her own. Her name is becoming louder, and because of her, the the agitation for a woman governor for Edo State is getting really, really loud. Someone like Olumide Akpata has, if money was to buy the election, probably has probably bought the election for the Labour Party. Olumide Akpata has spent a lot of money, everywhere. Olumide Akpata is very, very loud now. It's another very loud name. And so it remains to be seen. And there's so many other people. There's Rasma, whom people have, a lot of people have, some things, against as well. But leaving the aspirants, when you now go to the hierarchy of the Labour Party, it is confusing the role of the national chairman of the Labour Party. That's talking of Abure. Abure, is looking like nobody knows where he's facing. Initially, he tried to test the depth of the river by declaring himself that he wanted to run. You understand the picture from what I'm saying now? But having tested the depth of the rivers, of the waters, he probably has found out that it would be a political suicide for him to declare intention to run for governorship. But again, there are feelers that Abure favors the Esan agenda, and has negotiated with some aspirants to appeal to them to step down for possible Esan candidacy. And we have some of them there too in the mix and all of that. So there's flip-flop, and nobody knows the rules of engagement have not been released and all of that. But overall, on the issue of Esan agenda, a lot is really happening to that
I think
agenda.
we'll come to the Esan agenda. Let me pause
So
you.
overall,
Yes.
this is how the alignment and realignment is taking place.
Yeah, I like the word you have used now. Alignment and realignment. You know what alignment is when you are driving a car, and
Yeah.
that's take us to the journey, to Dennis Osadebe Avenue.
Absolutely.
Come November 2024, when the new governor for Edo State will be inaugurated to succeed Governor Godwin Nowerase Obaseki. September is the election, and like I said, in politics, when you look at 9 months. In fact, I was telling a friend yesterday, I said, for Edo State now, I said, though the governor is saying they will face governors, I said, politics will be going on. Oh. I said, it's going to be the one we call pari passu. So they're going to be
Yes.
doing it, Now, you've gone through a very dynamic summary. And then one name we must also not fail to mention is that of the current deputy governor of Edo State, Honorable Philip Schwaibu. We know all the in-win-wins going on there.
Yes.
In
Yes.
fact, the Edo State budget, 345 billion naira, that the governor presented for 2024. The deputy governor's budget was slashed. Last year, 2023, the deputy governor's office got about 1.5 billion naira.
Yes.
Um, for the office. But this year, the thing has been cut down drastically. I
To
think
just over 300 million.
over 300 million, over by 1/5 cut down, and we know the issues that are there. I think one of the commissioners, I'm just trying to remember, I can't remember. I think one of the commissioners, no, not even the commissioner. I think was it the Speaker of the Edo State House of Assembly, Blessing Agbebaku, was saying that the reason for that is because the deputy governor, is going to be involved in politicking and all that. So most of the work that the governor used to give to him is going to be scaled down. So that is the reason for the 1/5 cut down of his budget. So that is there. So now, comrade, you mentioned a golden set of people, the
Yes.
delegates.
Yes.
So when you use the word delegate, what came to my mind was super delegate, golden delegate. These are the goose that will lay the golden egg.
Absolutely.
Now, in our party politics in Nigeria,
Yes.
delegates, they are the door that you need to open, to sit down, probably on the throne
Yes.
of politics. So I want you to please break it down. These delegates, I like the way you always use word on the street,
Yes.
and we know that we all have our ears all over the place. We get information that comes to us all the time.
Yeah.
So when it comes to this issue of these primaries, some people are already saying that these delegates are going to be bought with money, so that in these political parties, it is going to be the ticket is going to go to the highest bidder. I don't know, as a political juggernaut yourself, who you have been in this game, you are an analyst, you know what obtains, and your ears are also to the ground. I must also say that. What do you think? I want you to analyze this delegate matter. Make we understand now.
Well, first and foremost, thank you very much for this particular question. It's very important, that we know this. For me, I think that's one of the biggest pillars of political immorality in Nigeria today is the vague provision by the Electoral Act, okay, for us to have this delegate process that have been so corrupted. As a matter of fact, it is looking like for every election, they are increasingly even more corrupted. Now, why did I say that? It would have been that there is an existing structure that will not keep anybody in suspense to identify people who make up the delegates of each political parties. Now, for instance, if a constitution provides for to say, oh, what's it called, the leaders, political elected executive members of the world level across the various political parties are going to make up the delegates for election, for instance. Okay, they are not necessarily elected to become delegates. They probably may have been elected 3 years before the election window opens. So they would have been existing. Now, what the Electoral Act provides for, okay, was that the political parties can have 3 ad hoc delegates representing each ward across the state. Now, where this becomes a bit difficult for the governor of Edo State is that the governor has no control over who these delegates will be. He has no control. The power of to choose delegates or to ratify delegates lies strictly with the national body of the political party, in this case of the PDP. Now, the constitution provides for that these 3 ad hoc members that will make up the delegates should pass through an electoral process at the ward level where they are elected. But we have seen time and again that instead of having them elected transparently, they actually selected. They actually selected. Now, this is where, LP, for instance, may run into a huge problem where it may be a difficult nut for somebody like Abure to swallow, because there is no way you can walk around this particular matter. Now, where this matter becomes very dangerous and highly corrupt is that people, as we speak across the different political parties, are already lobbying to become delegates of their political parties. Because when you become the delegate of a political party, your price as a human being increases. It therefore means that every delegate becomes very expensive. I probably wonder that some of them may actually get enough money right now to build, houses for themselves from the bribe they are going to get. So I think the Nigerian political landscape has created a gigantic, very dangerous elephant for the political system, which is what now feeds into the narrative of the highest bidder. You could see last year during the presidential, primaries that I mean, for the PDP, for instance, for the APC, for instance, delegates started buying brand new cars worth tens of millions from after when they returned from Abuja. The same thing happened in what's it called, a PDP. The candidates began to spend a lot of money to bribe these candidates. These delegates. So this is where it is very, very, very dangerous. So on the part of the APC, I understand that someone like what's his name, Ogbede Hama, for instance, is right now sleeping in Abuja. That's why I said earlier that when somebody asked me, said, Ogbede Hama has not declared. I said, man, look, it's not a matter of declaration. You understand the picture of what I'm saying now? And another danger in it is that the loyalists of the party, when they are made delegates with instructions. This is where
instruction from who?
My brother, instructions from the people who own the playground. People you don't necessarily see, but they are the ones who determine who plays at the playground. The people who play at the playground, they are not the owners of the playground. It is exactly the same reason why Obaseki right now, who has been reasonably within the structure of the political party of the PDP, but at the national level, okay, his influence has been reasonably reduced because after the general presidential elections and every other thing, one of his own men, the PDP national secretary, okay, who went to contest election in his own state and lost, and tried to come back to the same office, okay, right now, the man is having a very, yes, Mr. I think Samuel Ayan is having a very serious time now because his office has been declared vacant and replaced by the PDP hierarchy. So he's in court. I think in a few days, what's his name? That judgment is going to come. The governor himself doesn't even know who is going to make up the delegates. But guess what? Dan Obi, who is the South vice chairman of the PDP, will be sat at the table to determine the delegates for Edo State PDP primaries. Now, is Dan Obi right now eating in the same plate with the governor of Edo State? Your guess is as good as mine. Since 2020, after the elections, we saw the gap, we saw the fireworks, we saw all of the issues that took place, but only recently, just over a week ago or so, less than 2 weeks ago, that the governor paid a visit to Dan Obi.
It was a Christmas visit.
Yeah, it was a Christmas visit just about 2 weeks ago, or less than 2 weeks ago. Okay, paid a visit to Dan Obi. But the
strategic Christmas visit.
Very strategic Christmas visit. The subject matter was that we are one.
And so,
let's not be divided.
Of course.
But for some of us, we were puzzled that the governor of Dan Obi, they were not one in 2021. They were not one in 2022. We equally had Christmases in those periods.
Yeah, you are right.
Right? But all of these are political. But what puzzled me even more was even after the governor had declared that we are one, even though we have strains, we must always come together as one big family. The response of Dan Obi was very instructive. Dan Obi, after all the thank you, told the governor, the road you came through, what you went through, passing through that road, is what we have been going through for the last how many years? Please, if you can expect that action to fix that road, it will be very good. Now, what that test means, because that was not where Obi should make that request. Obi could call the governor and say, man, Excellency, my road is bad. Please fix my road, our road for us. Privately, it doesn't need to come into that particular arena. But again, Obaseki is not somebody that Obi sees regularly. He's supposed to be able to have that access, but he doesn't have that access. He doesn't know where he's going to see him again. That's one. Second aspect is that you have come with a hand of friendship. Do this road, okay? Because we don't trust you. Do this road, and let us now start knowing if we can trust you, that this friendship is genuine. So all of this is playing out in this matter because whether we like it or not, the North has a say in who becomes delegate. And we know that if word on the street is correct, we know that the the candidate of Dan Obi is Ogbede Hama. And we know the history of that. Ogbede Hama was the last man standing that conceded to Obaseki to become the candidate of the PDP and eventually became the governor of Edo State. And therefore, word on the street says that the PDP national body, they already endorsed what is his name? Ogbede Hama.
Okay,
Which is why I responded to the person who said that Aswa Igodalo may have run away with the ticket. And I said, my brother, sometimes the people who play at the playground, they are not the owners of the playground. Because right now, if you watch Aswa Igodalo, the man is trying. I really hope, that if it is, I don't want to bring God into politics, okay? If he plays his game well and he buys into the heart of the people, remember, he's not the only one there. Asa was just equally there, okay? All of these things are playing out right now because they themselves know that at this stage, Obaseki has not too much, okay? The influence of Obaseki over the delegates right now, coming from the national level, is not much. Though PDP is divided, but the PDP at the national level is not that divided. They are still very much united. Meanwhile, there is one human being called Wike, whose current position right now has even now made him crystallize his influence, who many now see as 60% PDP and 40% APC. He has a lot of grasp with the governor of Edo State, which again puts the chance of someone like Aswa Udao, at, what we say difficulty. Now, and apart from that, we already know that even before Bola Tinubu became president of Nigeria, because of what happened between Obaseki and Oshomole, Bola Tinubu has a lot of issues, with the governor of Edo State, which means that it does not favor Obaseki. So anything that comes in the name of Obaseki is going to be challenged by these people. Meanwhile, what people don't know is that the local government elections midwifed by the governor of Edo State is being challenged by the legacy party in Edo State. And what on the street says that Wike is behind that legal challenge, which judgment is coming on the 12th of this month. Now, if Obaseki wins that case, Obaseki will, we win some ground, you understand, to determine what the direction of PDP Edo State is going to be. But if he loses the case, it concedes almost on the entire structural powers of the PDP Edo State to what's his name, Danobi and Wike. Now the question is, who will be sat at the table at the 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. meeting?
Okay.
Because right now, the people sitting right now are sitting at the level of 1 a.m. meeting. But there will be another meeting at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m.
Thank you very much, comrade. I must appreciate the way you are analyzing and critically evaluating this particular issue. These are political tactics and strategies and a lot of the inner workings that is happening. So, callers, viewers of the Comrade Show, I think we are going to display our lines. Comrade, if we can have that optics. Yes, it's floating. Please, if you want to call in, there have been a lot of contributions. I want to thank all of you that are contributing. We are going to be putting some of them on our engagement board so that, because it's not just us talking here. Please, you can call in. Please, when you want to call on WhatsApp so that everybody can really participate. So we had this from Elder Ebenove Godwin. He said, it's just the election in Nigeria. It is a selection of highest bidder, not necessarily the best candidate. I know because of INEC, Ebenove Godwin is saying that. So thank you so much. Another one from Friday Wang Boje. Can Edo State have free and fair election following the present INEC chairman president? Only God will tell. So we're going to come to all these issues later. Yes, this is from Uncle Henry Bakare. all the way from Italy. Nigerian politicians are very funny. They toy with people's interests. I can make fools of people. Yes, you know how politics is. So, comrade, I want to take you. You mentioned this. Um, you spoke a lot about the PDP, to some extent the APC, and then the Labour Party. You went around all of them. Now, there is this contentious issue that is on the ground. And as I'm from Edo State, you are from Edo State. And we cannot whisk this away to say, it doesn't matter. It is the issue of the Esan agenda. You have mentioned it. The Esan agenda. What role do you think this Esan agenda matter is going to play in this September 2024 Edo State election? I want you to be very frank and brutal. Take the mic.
Thank you, bro. Nigerians, please just I have my ears on the ground fully. You know, it's the Esan agenda is very loud. It's very loud. You know, and a lot of advocacy for the Esan agenda is there. I don't know. Probably it is from this table too that some of us started this Esan agenda. You know, that we should create this balance. But the truth of the matter is this: there are very many political pillars in Edo State, particularly from the Edo South extraction, who don't favor anything like Esan agenda. They are making a very strong argument against it. Very, very strong argument. Some don't even want to hear it. As a matter of fact, I've had this conversation with some people who just say, "Latte, just stop it. Don't even discuss Esan agenda." There's a strong internal argument against the Esan agenda. Rather, people want to talk about the Edo State agenda. Like, let political parties feed people, you know, who are competent, not because they are from one, you know, a senatorial district or the other. Now, when we talk about competence, when politicians use the word competence, you know, for some of us, it's just those same narrative that they peddle. You know what I'm saying? Laden with so much dishonesty, because at the end of the day, nobody's going to be determined based on, you know, issues of competence or, you know, as the case is. The issue of the highest bidder, the issue of different interests, everything is going to come to play. However, there is somebody I've engaged in recent time, a very strong political pillar in Edo State. You know, who told me? And he said, "Look, Lante," he said, "there are 4 pillars in Edo State that are holding Edo State together. And those 4 pillars have agreed that they don't want anything like Esan agenda." And he asked me a question. He said, when Aneni was under Obasanjo as like the de facto president of Nigeria, okay, there were a number of persons appointed, ministers, giving federal, you know, offices and every other thing. So did you ever hear of anything like, you know, Edo agenda? Were all of those appointees not all from Edo Central? Or almost all of them from Edo Central? He gave quite a few names as ministers, as this, as that, okay, that, you know, I think you have a caller.
Yeah, let's take the call.
Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, sir. What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Bakari Henry calling from Italy.
Mr. Bakari, go ahead, sir. You have 90 seconds.
Yeah. I am very, very much interested in this agenda. First and foremost, let me say Happy New Year to the Comrade Show. Thank you thank you for taking my call.
Thank you,
this agenda, I always have problem with this. I think the ESA agenda, to me, I have not been able to understand the meaning of this ESA agenda. Is there any agenda different from Edo agenda the ESA people are trying to promote? Or do they want to divide Edo State into different states or something like that? But if there is not, for me, it's not a bad thing to have an Esan man or a qualified Esan man, but that agenda, they should define it or they explain it to Edo people, the meaning of Esan agenda. Because if, from my own lame understanding of Esan agenda, is that they have a different motive, and maybe they want to change the complete narrative of Edo State in general. So that Esan agenda, for me, it does not work for anything, and I do not believe in it. If the Esan believe in their agenda, which they have not been able to explain to the public very well, then they should count themselves, they should count their agenda non void. That's one problem I have with them. Any Esan can come to the can come and it is qualified. Okay, let them go. For me, I agree that Esan should be the next governor of Edo State. But that agenda, that is where I have problem with them. They should be able to explain to the Edo people the meaning of their agenda. If they have a different agenda to divide Edo or to call themselves off from Edo State, they should let the Edo people know. I think I wrote it in the Facebook one time. They should let us know, but nobody replied to tell me what the agenda means. That is, they have not been able to define their agenda to the public, and that is why they are having more problems today. Thank you very much, and that's what I have for today.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bakari. But let me quickly just state, probably to correct an impression here. Dr. Abbas, do you still hear me?
I'm hearing you.
Yeah, to correct an impression here. The Esan agenda is not being floated by the Esans alone. There are Benin's who believe in the Esan agenda. There are people from Edo not to believe in the Esan agenda. I think it's a conversation that we cannot run away from, because people talk about this promoting the sense of balance and equity as far as Edo State governorship matter is concerned. That we've had people, somebody from Edo South, we've had somebody from Edo North, now it should be somebody from Edo Central, which is, for me, it's the same argument. However, this argument has a lot of contentions against it. You understand what I'm saying now, which is what I was trying to explain. And so, and this person, like I said, taking it from where I stopped, said, did you ever hear of Edo agenda when people like Ugbesia, Itwila, all of those people, Honor Lememe or whatever, you understand what I'm saying now? They were all benefiting ministerial appointments from Tony Aneni. I said, that's true. I said, when Oshomole became a national figure in Edo State, how many Edo South people has Oshomole actually promoted to the national level, whether as ministers or for ministerial appointments and this and that? And they mentioned a series of names as well. You understand what I'm saying now? People like Lemagba, Momo, many of these people from Edo North are the people benefiting the federal appointments from Edo State, not people from Edo South. And the person asking, did you ever hear of anything like Edo agenda? And I said, no. So he said, based on this and a lot of other things, so people now feel that the idea, I think you have another caller.
Yeah, let's take the call.
Hello.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Okay, I'm still calling from Italy.
Still from Italy. Go ahead, sir. You have 60 seconds.
Okay. I quickly want to respond to the last caller. Esan agenda is a Edo agenda. Esan agenda is just it's a Edo State agenda, meaning an Esan man should be the next governor. Edo is sitting on tripod, so Edo South have their time, Edo North as well. So I think it's proper for Edo Central. It was this same platform we were supporting Obaseki in 2020. So I think if we are one, it's time for Central, for the purpose of unity and coexistence. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your call. Very concise.
Let me just take it from here before I ask you the next question. Come with Oriahi. Just like what you were saying, the Eastern agenda, as it's being propounded, is a very valid, sane agenda. In fact, that was the word you used. Very sane. It's correct. Nobody is debating that. And like you said, even some of the people who are even promoting this Esan agenda, they are from Edo South, they are from Edo Central, they are from Edo North.
Yes.
And the good thing about Edo State people is that fairness is ingrained in our DNA.
Yes.
And that is, I always like the parable, comrade, you always make, and we make it on this program a lot. And And when we use the Benin language to say it, yeah, we're Edo Yuma, or Edo. Yeah. So the Edo State people, we may not attend meetings, but we have a way of thinking the same way. But in politics, however, it's a game of numbers and it's a game of persuasion. For me, just like what happened in even in the Nigerian election in February last year, you have to present yourself. You know, I was in a discussion yesterday evening, and I said something when we were discussing about politics. I said, you know, politics and governance is like the lotto. If you don't play the lottery, you're not gonna win. So you have to come out and say, this is what I want to do. You have to sell yourself, you have to market yourself. And that is why all these candidates you are seeing here on our screen now, these people they did just sit in their house and then they just expect to be picked. You only get picked maybe to come and do member of a board or a parastatal or a minister or a commissioner. But when it comes to elective governance, somebody has to come forward. And I'm really happy that if you look at this Edo State governorship election, in fact, data have shown that this is the election that you had the highest number of candidates.
Absolutely.
You have the serious, the not too serious, and the not serious at all. So you have the heavyweight, you have the middleweight, and then you have the lightweight, and then you have the flyweight. But in politics, a flyweight overnight, maybe after one meeting by the political
5 o'clock or 6 o'clock
5 o'clock or 3 a.m. meeting, anything can change. That is it. And before we came to the studio, myself and Comway, I don't want to divulge that, we're discussing something that happened in an election in Edo State. I think, you know, in 1992 or thereabout.
Oh,
Remember
yes.
that election?
Yes.
So it was just within 48 hours, the dynamics of that election. But that was an election. But this time we're talking about primaries. And if you notice, we've had some on this program. I'm just speaking to our viewers now. We've had candidates from both the PDP, APC, and Labour Party. Some of them have come to this platform to talk to Edo State people worldwide. And when you look at these people, these are eminently qualified people. Take nothing away from them, irrespective of their political party. These people, these are sound men and women. All these people that are contesting, but only one person can win an election. That's the beauty of democracy.
Yes.
So, and we always say this, comrade, in politics, that you win some, you lose some.
You lose some.
So we just hope that during these primaries, the capacity of individuals should be looked. You don't just go and pick somebody for your party. And the political parties also understand that when it comes to voting, the Edo State voting population, we are very politically savvy.
Yes.
Edo State, we've been practicing kind of democratic parliamentary system for years.
Yes.
Even
absolutely.
when we had a pure monarchy system in the days of our empire, the Benin Empire.
Yeah.
The Oba had
dating back over 600 years ago.
Yes, years ago. They were layers. It's still
there.
It's still there till today. Yeah. So even though we are now like Nigeria,
a very direct system of government.
That's it. So till now, if you go to any community in Edo State, you have the Odion Weres, the Enigies and all that.
Yes.
You know, they talk about things, and once they speak, everybody you go with it. So these layers are there. So what I think every Edo State person is saying is that yes, the valid argument for Esan agenda is there, but the overriding agenda is the Edo State agenda. So, and I know when I also look at some of the candidates that have come from Edo Central, these are, they're also eminently qualified, but they have to, you can't get it on a platter of gold. They have to move around, and a lot of them doing that, reach out, because at the end of the day, if you don't reach out, nothing is going to happen. And ultimately, the political parties also will be looking at how they can win the election. Because the reason political parties exist is to win elections.
To win elections, yeah.
So if they don't win election, the political party, their fortunes don't improve. So they also look at who stands a chance to win. So these are the things. And then some political parties will also have advantage. If you look at the APC now, just give my own personal opinion. So people will look at the APC and say, oh, APC is at this federal level. If they benefit citizens, people will look at that to also say whether they are going to use that to vote. And then you look at the PDP, which is the incumbent party. So people will look at this administration of Governor Obaseki and say, oh, even though Obaseki did 4 years in APC and then he did the final 4 years in PDP, but it's PDP now that is on him. People will say, what has he done? Has he done well? So based on those rankings, people will decide. Then you go to the Labour Party, which has come to be a huge force in Nigerian politics now. You know, with the last election we had, people will say, is it we need to also try another people, APC, PDP, una done the rule since 1999 for Edo State. This is 25 years now. Make we try another political party. And that brings me to the next question I want to ask you of this, make we try another thing, is the issue of a female governor. There is a huge agitation, comrade, that the men have always been governor, deputy, since 1999, 25 years now. And people have already said, let's give women a chance. So I want you to talk about this one.
To be honest, I hope that will be a conversation that will grow louder. I hope so reasonably, because personally, I have so much confidence in the capacity of women to make a difference. In my own private life, from my own home, family, down to my place of work and every other thing, I think I'm able to really see the difference women make when they are in a position of responsibility. I don't know why that is, but I probably think that if we tune our mind to give that opportunity in those states, we probably may just be in for a very big deal, okay? That we, transform those states, differently, and probably, create an opportunity too for Nigeria to start with that, I don't want to say experiment, but to equally embrace, an ideal like that. So it shouldn't be off the table. I think it's a conversation that should grow and grow very loud. That if we are going to have a woman who is competent, particularly looking at the history, our political history, leading with men, really no women when it comes to, state executive powers like governor or president or, like that. And this is our story. It probably makes sense if we can have a woman, become, governor of Edo State. I think it's going to make a big deal, because at the end of the day, the woman herself will know that she has a responsibility, not just to fail women, but not to fail women all over the world. And she has a responsibility to prove to the men, like they usually say in that balance, that what a man can do, women can do even better. I think that conversation needs to grow and grow loud. You have a caller, bro.
Yeah, let's take the call.
Hello. We've lost the call.
Yeah, we lost the call. So please go on. We're talking about
so like
the place of women.
Yes, I honestly think that it will be, personally, I would favor that personally. I would really look into that, and that will easily win my heart, to be honest with you. That will easily win my heart. You understand what I'm saying now? It doesn't matter where the woman is from, whether it's an Esan woman or a Benin woman, it doesn't matter. But all that will matter will be the credentials of this woman, the antecedent of the woman. When that is able to fit the bill, that definitely would definitely have my heart, honestly. And look, man, I'm equally saying this to encourage, if there are women listening to us right now that have the capacity, if there are men who know women who have the capacity, who are prepared, who have the antecedents enough to be considered, they should sponsor such women. I think that it will make this conversation a lot easier. You understand what I'm saying? It will make it a lot easier. I honestly want to see lots of women on the field. It's very important, because it is not an exclusive reserve for men. I honestly am wary of Every man on the what's it called, the feed right now. I'm personally wary of every one of them. Because with all what they are preaching right now, from Aswe Godalo to Ansemu Jesua to Lumedi Akbata to Osage Ezeyam and every other thing, I probably have heard more from people that have governed the state, and I've seen so little difference that any of them are, have made. So little, if any. So at the end of the day, as I look at all of them, my analysis of this thing right now, like I told somebody yesterday, I said, for me, the guy was like, Lata, are you still discussing politics? Forget about these people. I said, look, bro, I'm just catching cruise. The last time I was emotive about politics in Nigeria, okay, was, last year when I saw what happened in the presidential election. And of course, going back to 2020 with those states election that we had and what has happened between 2020 and now, right now, I am just catching cruise. You understand what I'm saying? I'm just enjoying myself. Okay? I am no longer emotive about anything. I'm just discussing freely. This matters. I don't get any hearty attachment to anything because we have a country that is, negatively magic in every sense. And until we are able to, somebody who I don't know, who has the mind of God, a genuine mind to come and change things, and that person is opportune and able to change things, probably can have begin to have, that additional attachment. Otherwise, now, nonsense. There's not anybody going to see my brother. It's all.
I like the word you used there, negatively magic. And you used one other word before. I wrote it down here. You talked about political immorality.
Yeah.
That is going on. Some people will say, the abracadabra, of Nigerian politics that goes around. Yes, thank you very much, so much, Comrade Lante Iponsa Oriaki. It's always a huge pleasure, putting this kind of topic before your table. You have zazan the whole thing, and you have left no stone unturned. And I'm sure a lot of people who have been following us since we started, nearly an hour now, we started this program, would actually have, got one or two information. And we've also got a lot of information from, all our viewers who have been, engaging with us on YouTube, on Facebook, and all our social media handles. We appreciate you all so much. Ake Osunde, our brother Paul Eyitemi, Epa Ebenowe Godwin, Harry Bakare, Lizzie, Jesus Baby, so many of that I cannot even, mention your name. And even our callers who have rang in. We had two callers, the Italians, they stole the show today. Italiano, Fantastica, they stole the show today. Uncle Bakari Henry and our brother Steve, they spoke so eloquently, and others that have put words on our chat, on our screen. Really appreciate you all. So again, I just want to plead with you, please share this broadcast, hit the like button. The more you do that, the more Facebook will bring this particular program to the attention of other people who follow this program. Let's not forget, we've had a lot of hits from negative hackers on this show in the last couple of months. But we're happy that we are still standing in terms of our software and being able to reach you. Thank you all so much. Yes, your final word, Comrade Lante, very briefly, in less than 60 seconds. Your final word before I close the show.
Yeah, my final word is that, we may not be very much impressed with what we've gotten by way of governance across all levels of government in the past years. Election is coming right now. A lot of people, which is my fear, voter apathy. I just want to encourage that, my father used to say that every antelope or deer we see, we should chase it because we don't know which one has a bad leg. we should keep up our interests. We should keep participating, because at the end of the day, we cannot predict the temper of a chick still in its egg. We don't know who eventually, may emerge and begin to turn the table around positively for Edo State people. So let us, look deep, and for the people that will eventually be lucky to emerge delegates, let us know that we owe it a duty to our states to make the right, choices for us across the political parties. Will be good if we have, you know, good candidates representing each political party, so that at the end of the day, it will be a contestation of three or more very good, very prepared, candidates. And whichever one we choose, at the end of the day, will all be good for Edo State. But for us, as the people of Edo State, let's sustain our interest in the process. It's important.
Thank you very much. I remember those
Thank you, Tom.
days, the program we used to listen to very early morning on Edo Broadcasting Service. It's called Words of Our Fathers. They are words of wisdom.
Yeah,
Very
I
early,
remember.
we used to listen to
I
it around
remember that.
6 o'clock back in the days. Indomie generation, one and no verse. I don't know that one. Uh-huh. So I appreciate you for that summation, and I agree with you. I second the emotion as raised, Comrade Lante Ponsa Oriahi. Edowe in Agbaloma Wune Amufiakpo.
Yes.
And the Benin also say that Emagbo pe aye oma se emana lelaha.
Absolutely.
So translated, those two parables means that um, we have to be in the ring.
Yes.
Ethics. So we
Yes.
cannot just we know that things are not what they should be, but we also know that we are not where we used to be. The level of political participation, the level of interest that everybody is having in governance is increasing by the day. And this is keeping the political class on their toes. And when somebody put there, I think it's Taiwo Ajayi on uh, on our engagement chat here. He said there are over 200 people wanting to be governor of Edo State. Yeah, although he added a few other things. But I just picked this first part of what Taiwo Ajayi have said here. So this goes to show that people are not just sitting down in their house just talking. People want to take the bull by the horn, throw their heart in the ring, and get involved. And that is what we have been talking about. A time is coming, I believe you, like Uncle Bakari just dropped now. A better Edo State can be realized. We all have to be involved. We have to talk to these people. Politicians, they are not spirits. They are people like you and I. They have blood also flowing in their vein, despite all that is happening. So they also need to be challenged, and they also need to be accountable. We have to be involved. I'm looking forward to the time where more of us will get involved in the political terrain. And I'm going to, summarize with this. Somebody said that after God, the next most powerful force on the earth is government. After God, the next most powerful force on the earth is government. And that is why we always say, paraphrasing the book of Matthew, chapter 6 and verse 33, we always say this in political terms: seek ye first the kingdom of politics, and every other thing shall be added unto you. So, at the party primaries, we need to get it right. Like Comrade Lante have said just now, if by the time these parties will get 3 strong candidates, 4 strong candidates, depending on the political parties, and then the people will have a choice to make from. But we all have to be involved, even at this stage of primaries. Let's get it done. Let's talk to people. Yeah, we know money will be involved as well, but let us get in the conversation and the discussion, so that at the end of the day, whoever emerges on September in the September 2024 election will be the choice of the people of Edo State. So on this note, I want to thank every one of you who have participated in this program, especially Comrade Lante Ponsa Oriaki, who have taken most of the questions that I've asked. And to all of you, please share this broadcast. And Like we said at the beginning, this is our very first show for the year 2024. And once again, I wish you all a very happy New Year 2024. We'll see you again, same time, same station, the Comrade Show, this segment that we call the Comrade and Friends. Bye.